What's up, nerds? We are your hosts. I am Jake.
And I'm Chad.
This week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We are we are also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce. Wheel.
This this week this week we are going to be talking about episodes 4 and 5 of Titans season 4?
Season 4, yeah.
Season 4 streaming on HBO Max.
We will also be talking about Black Adam and the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. So, let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast. Nerd.
Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chadley, Chadwell, how was your week?
Well, Chadwell's not fitting because Chad is not well. Other than the past couple of days, my week was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't do much. I mean, worked, but then, had Thanksgiving at your place, which was a lot of fun. It was nice to have some place to go and have a big
Well,
family gathering, family holiday, even though not related to anyone there, but it was still fun for me.
there's the family you choose and,
Yeah.
that whole spiel. So
However
we
it
were
goes.
we were glad to have you. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's some lots of vegan options. We
So much
got
good.
drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. And
The
then
Vikings won.
the Vikings won.
Yeah.
And then I woke up Friday thinking that it was just allergies from, we spent most of the time out in your garage, and
Mhm.
there was so many people in the kitchen that actually brought food that I just kind of hung out in the garage with Mike for most of that time leading up to dinner and then watching football. So I thought, like, combination of just like being out in colder space for a while, and then I'm allergic to cats, and you guys have a cat.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
That
whoa.
was
We do not have a cat.
well, you guys live together,
Nicole,
and the
Nicole has a
cat is
cat.
there.
I fucking hate that cat.
But I woke up thinking it was a combination of hangover and allergies. I even texted you. I was like, my allergies are going crazy, and I blame the cat.
Yeah.
It was not allergies.
It's full-blown AIDS.
Yeah, I'm sure the beginning of the day was hangover as well, but
Mm.
I'm HIV positive about that. Only because you said the AIDS joke. No, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and then I developed a fever, really bad cough. This is the best that my voice has sounded since Friday. It's been rough. It's not great, Cotton. But the miracle of Dayquil and Mucinex and Vicks Vapor Rub and all the other over-the-counter drugs have allowed me to survive. Kind of.
Sure.
Yeah. What about you? How was your week? Uh-huh.
Thanksgiving. Abada, abada. Uh, Thanksgiving was a lot of fun. We were happy to have you here. We had some friends and family over. It was a good time. Vikings won, like you said. Um, Chad got sick. Can't wish for anything better than that. Uh,
Such a dick.
no, today I did go take some picture. Since the pandemic started, a few years ago now, when we were on lockdown, my cousin and her husband, I won't say their names, but they had their first and only so far child, um, and they weren't able to get Christmas pictures with Santa because of lockdown. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll buy a Santa suit online, and I did that. And since then, I have been Santa every year for everybody's kids. Uh, and so I went to take pictures today, for theirs because they want to do a Christmas card and they want to make sure the cards get done before Christmas. So suited up this morning and went and took pictures. And so far, this is year number three now. My niece has been so terrified of me as Santa Claus that the first 2 years, she just bawled her eyes out, which was cute and blah, blah, blah. Today, she cried so hard that she vomited. Not on me, luckily. She vomited on her dad, but she was hysterically crying, and they put her, on my lap, and I'm just like holding this kid who was just like struggling to get off of me, and I'm just like, just take the picture, take the picture. Don't, you sick fuck.
Then
It was,
I
I
wasn't gonna
so,
say anything.
it was bad. She cried. Like I said, she cried so hard she threw up. It was brutal.
That
And
story gives me as much joy as watching videos of children falling off of bikes.
yeah, I literally was like, pictures are done. Don't bring her in here. I'm gonna change. I had like shorts and a t-shirt on underneath the Santa suit, so I just like took everything off and was like, "Hey, Uncle Jake's here." And then she cried again because yeah,
Well,
her
by
and I
the
don't vibe very well.
by the sounds of it, she just doesn't like you. And then you show up to her house once a year dressed as the thing that she hates more than you.
Well, my cousin was saying that she was like excited about, like they were talking about Santa coming over, and she was like excited, and then when like we got there, she they were like Santa's here, and she like ran to the window and was like Santa's here, and was like excited. The second I came in and was like hi, she was like
Oh,
yeah,
that's so great.
yeah.
Ugh.
Am I supposed to say something more?
No,
No, I'm
no,
not. You like paused, and I was
no.
like, shit, did I
I'm
forget to
just
say
trying
something?
not to die.
We'll do the bots thing.
Yeah, so we still have about another week left. We'll probably leave it up for an extra week or so from when this episode comes out. You still have a chance to purchase some one of a kind artwork from some incredible artists from our collaboration with the Battle of the Sketches.
Mhm.
And it's a great way to support local artists, or not local artists, they're from all over the world, but
Yeah.
some incredible artists. And also at the same time, you'd be supporting local comic book stores in the Twin Cities where we're located, because that's our home base.
I will definitely be purchasing something from them. I know you did already, correct?
Yep, I did already, and
Coming soon.
coming soon. We worked out something, so I'll actually be getting the print and hanging it, and then we work something out with him so that we can use that piece, because we were the inspiration for the actual artwork. So we're going to be making some merch, uh, and
It all
yeah,
looks great. Dad
it's
sent it all over to me today, and it looks
it's
fantastic.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have some an artist collection of merch coming
Hmm.
out soon, which will be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So happy about it. But yeah, go check it out. It's on our website. It's allthingsnerdpodcast.com, where you can buy some awesome one of a kind prints.
Go buy something. And I personally, if you live in Minnesota, will meet up with you and buy you a beer or two or three. I will hold
Dep-
myself to that.
Depending on how far of a drive it is, sames.
Go buy something and we'll take you out.
That's fair. Any whoosies, let's go ahead and get into sponsor number one, because we're talking about a few things today. So we don't want to take up a ton of your time. Sponsor number one this week is Ray's Energy Drinks. It's a fantastic energy drink. It goes on practically anything.
You're an
It
idiot.
pairs with practically anything. Is that better? No, it's 0 calories, zero sugar, and zero crash. Listen up, learn how to save 15%. If energy drinks aren't your thing, they have a lot more to offer. So still listen up, and we'll be right back with you to talk about Titans.
What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, and powered by their Refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, we are going to talk about episode 4 and 5 of Titans, now streaming on HBO Max. Before we start this little segment here, if you haven't watched it, check back in with us. Spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it. So, between these couple episodes, a lot of cool shit happened. There was a lot of cool shit that
A lot
happened.
of dark stuff too.
Dark,
I
yeah.
like how dark this season is.
Yeah, it's kind of wild actually. I remember watching episode one of the episodes. We won't whatever. But I mean, someone gets decapitated with a chainsaw. And
That's
it's not like a quick like huh, it's like and like blood's going everywhere and it's like Jesus Christ.
yeah.
It's
That's one of these episodes. I think that's episode 4.
That is one of these episodes. I just didn't want to say which episode it was out
Oh,
of the two because we're kind of just talking about the two episodes, not necessarily in order. But yeah,
I see.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, this season is it's all circling back to Trigon, which is the villainish and the organization. That's what they're called, the organization that works for Trigon. Were the bad guys in season one. So now in season four, we're kind of circling back to Trigon.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was imprisoned in Rachel's forehead. Her father's jewels
Tink tink.
on her forehead.
Dad?
Dad. But now it has been removed, and she's happier, and her hair is white.
I don't know what that has to do with it because like her hair wasn't white before.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's fine. No, but so they find out that the cult, like Trigon's cult,
The organization,
yeah, the organization, but also in the comics it's Church of the Blood.
Church of the Blood.
Church,
Yeah.
yeah. Survived because they like burned it down in the first season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But now there's a Super Mega Mart or something like that. Basically, a Walmart Supercenter
Mm.
is now sitting over that place, but underneath there's still remains,
Yeah.
and there's I don't know if zombies is the right word.
Yeah.
but they're like mind controlled people.
Like mega, kinda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Keep the shirt if you're on Insta. Or not Insta, sorry, YouTube.
You did that all of last episode too,
I love it, yeah. Because now you know we're on Insta and um
and
YouTube.
YouTube.
So
Yeah,
yeah, check them both out. Anyways, yeah. It is. It's an intense scene, but it's also like fuck. This season's gory, dude. Like
yeah,
there's like I said, there's a head removed with a chainsaw, and it is gnarly. We also get a really cool zombie.
yeah. We get Deathstroke,
Zombie Deathstroke.
zombie Deathstroke.
I think they even say that. They're like, ah, it's zombie Deathstroke, and they all run away. It's pretty funny.
At one point in time, is it was it Connor? Someone like removes Deathstroke's head.
Connor, yeah. He punches him so hard in the face that his head just like flies off his body.
And then the body picks the head back up and just sets it
Fucks it.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sets it back on his shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah. Shoulder fucks it.
Different. That was a different movie I watched. Sorry.
Did you watch Zombie Strippers again?
No, there is a movie called High Tension. Has nothing to do with anything we're talking about right now. First 1 minute of the movie sets the tone. Anyways, back to back to it.
But
That's the scene, by the way.
a head gets ripped off and then fucked.
Oh, it's a trucker getting a blowjob from somebody, and you don't really see anything other than like him like leaning back and getting a blowjob, and then when he's done and like he's like and like comes in her mouth, he just takes the head and throws it out the window and drives off. So there was no girl. He was just like
Banging
fucking
a
a
head.
decapitated head. Yeah.
Gnarly.
Yeah, that's the opening
Super
scene.
gross. Super gross. Well, this is still not safe for work, but in different reasons. This is just bloody and gory and violent, not necrophiliac.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just kidding. There's no necrophilia so far. We're only on episode 5.
Yeah. But the Deathstroke zombie stabs Connor.
Oh yeah, with like a witchy blade.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not kryptonite, but it's
He
still
put his snake up in him.
he did put a snake up in him.
A big snake.
Real good snake.
Messed up he felt it up in his guts, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
Well, we'll get up in Connor's guts later. Not sorry, Mom. But yeah, they're trying to escape this entire thing. Like Jake said, there's heads getting lopped off with chainsaws. Rachel's the one that's doing it now because she doesn't have her magic, so she can't really combat it. So she's like, "Oh, this chainsaw will do," because they're in a Walmart supercenter. So they're like, next to the baby formula, of course there's chainsaws.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, I mean, it makes sense.
Conveniently charged batteries too.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been gas powered and just already fueled.
Yeah. Just already fueled. There was kind of an annoying part for me. After probably like a 5 minute like fight scene with these zombies and whatever, Jinx is like, all right, enough of this. And she's like, "Huh," and like freezes all the zombies. And she's like, I can hold them for a little while and then we can escape. And it's like, why the fuck didn't she do that 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? But yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah. But they also, and then she needs time to like recharge that ability
Yeah.
And then after that. Then that's how they defeat the Deathstroke
Deathstroke.
zombie.
Yeah.
And did she or did she? I remember that she like grabs his gun to like keep it as a trophy and like bring it with. Did she actually keep it?
She kept it. Yeah.
She did.
Because even Dick says, like, "Oh, I see you have his gun," and she's like, "Yeah." When she gets in the car with him. But yeah, she
That's right. Yeah.
pretends to be that they're after Sebastian, who we talked about already, and she uses magic to make herself look like Sebastian. Zombie Deathstroke grabs her inappropriately, and she's like,
Or
"Haha,
appropriately.
I'm not I'm not Sebastian. I'm Jinx." And then she like pokes him in the eye and he dies. And she's like, "I like your gun. I'm gonna take it."
Yeah. Well, she's like, I'm Jinx. You owe me a Coke. And then pokes him in the
One,
eye.
two, three, four, five. Yeah. Basically this bitch, the evil bitch, who is
Mother
um
Mayhem.
Sebastian's mother, is using not only controlling the zombies and Zombie Deathstroke, but she's also using Zombie Deathstroke to see what the Titans are doing. And so Jinx is like looking at him and she's like, there it is, camera or whatever, and she sticks him in the eye and he dies.
Oh, that's right. There was a camera.
And that's why the one chick like freaks out because she can't see anymore. So it
Yeah.
was cool. Jinx is, I have a feeling before this season over that Jinx is gonna fuck the team over.
Yeah?
Pretty sure. Yeah. I actually thought she did it in this season, this episode, um, when she like transformed back into Jinx. I thought she was gonna be like, "Hey, I'm not him, but like, I want to like go with you." But she didn't do that. But I do. She has an ulterior motive. I promise you.
My thought on it is that she. I mean, she probably does still have an ulterior motive, but I don't think that she's actually going to fuck over the team. I think she's going to die.
I mean, that's fine too.
Yeah.
She,
Because other than like our introduction to her in the third episode, she's been very helpful. Because
yeah.
like even though she's a magic user herself, she even says that like this is a different kind of magic. It's a darker type of magic. I think that she's going to be overwhelmed and die.
Mm. See, I think she's gonna get tempted by like learning how to do that kind of magic and
Mm,
have more power, and she's gonna be like, "Okay, bye. Fuck you guys." We'll see.
interesting.
It's just a theory, but Jinx is not necessarily a good guy, so
Yeah,
I think she's gonna fuck them over at some point.
that's fair.
Be my guess. She's had been helpful, but she's also turned Corey to stone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think
Yeah,
she is. She almost tried to get Dick killed. I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, you're not wrong on those two things. But then in episode 5, I mean, she's very helpful with because so after they leave Walmart, uh, they go to Star Labs because basically the blood moon, the red moon has risen. The prophecy is that while the blood moon is in the sky, all this shit comes to pass. Sebastian's gonna destroy the world. So they're like, well, let's just keep him hidden until the blood moon's done, and then
Which I think the fairy tale book is kind of cheesy. It's a prophecy, but it's like a children's like book depicting what's gonna happen to everybody, and it's like, it's kind of dumb. But anyway,
yeah, yeah, I don't think that. Mm. See, my thought was that my thought was th- that even with the prophecy of like, oh, the blood moon, like that was just like symbolism, and they're
Hmm.
literally like, oh, there's a red moon in the sky. That happens only so often, so like we just have to like outlive the night,
Yeah,
and then it turns out that that doesn't fucking matter.
yeah.
Um,
The red sun rises. Blood has been spilled this night.
yeah, and they're taking the hobbits to Isengard. But
Yeah.
anyways, they go to Star Labs, and that's kind of where episode 4 ends.
Hmm. Well,
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
yes. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Well, Connor does throw up a snake,
Hmm.
which is gross.
He liked it.
Maybe.
His gag reflexes, on the other hand, not so great.
He's new to it. Give him time. Uh,
Try a smaller snake.
speaking of snakes, uh, one of the funniest moments of episode 5 in early 2000s, or like mid 2000s, pop culture reference was used in this episode
Oh yeah.
where Jinx is like, this magic is beyond me with all these snakes. I'm going to have to consult a professional. And everyone's like, John Constantine? And she's like, no, Samuel L. Jackson. There's just a snakes on a
Gotta get
plane
these
joke.
motherfucking snakes off this motherfucking plane. It was funny,
It
damn
was
it.
hilarious. But the my favorite part about it was uh, that Dick, Coriander, and the Star Labs technician were the only ones that got the joke
Hmm.
because everyone else is like too young to have like seen that
Yeah.
movie because it wasn't a good movie to begin with.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
fair. That's
so like
fair.
the younger people on the team didn't catch the snakes on a plane reference. Just watching you try and fix your hair from a
It's like
webcam
sticking
perspective.
straight
I
up.
know it was wild. Uh,
Anyways, yeah. Like, Connor. That so it turns out the stab wound from Witchy Bitch, uh, kind of not only made Connor, uh, like sick and throw up snakes, but she also has kind of control over him now.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it gets weird.
he is terrifying
Mm,
when he has no sense of morality
yeah.
because it. I mean, it's been the argument for so long, both in the nerd culture and in like side things. Like, what if Superman wasn't good?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we even got that film Brightburn,
Brightburn. We've had
uh,
Ultraman. We
Ultraman.
have the boys.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
like, and he's just so indifferent in this episode because he is possessed, and
There's
there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, there is. There's kind of a cool part where earlier in the episode, Jinx says to Connor that Superman is scared of magic, and Connor is like, Superman's not scared of anything. You don't know what you're talking about. And Dick is like, no, Superman's scared of magic. And after Connor is now he's like possessed or whatever, and he kind of flies off the rails and starts attacking Dick. uh
Grow up, you child.
uh Jinx basically, I mean, she just knocks him out like cold. And she was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, that's gonna last a couple minutes, but we got to restrain him. And then they put like kryptonite handcuffs on him basically and tie him to a bed. And then they attack Dick. And no, I'm just kidding. Just
I
kidding.
see what you
But
did
no,
there.
so and this is a big thing in like the comics, the cartoons, Smallville, everything Superman is that Superman is almost invincible, other than kryptonite and magic. Magic is one thing that can hurt Superman. So it was really interesting to me that they brought it up in this and then also used it on Connor to show that magic is something that Kryptonians can't fight.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool. It was a small scene, very small plug, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
It was cool. And sorry. At some point in time, even though Connor threw up the snake got bigger and then crawled back inside of him,
Hmm.
which is gross because then he's like,
Pregnant.
yeah, what? Oh, I can't think of the whose baby. It's an old school like horror film where it's someone's baby. I can't think of the mother's name, but she basically
Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby. Thank you.
Oh,
I
I was like, what are you talking
in
about?
my head, all I wanted to say was like Rosario, and then I was like, that's
Oh.
not right. And then I was like, Dawson. I was like, that's the same person. Like, but it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
But it's infecting him. It's killing him, really. Basically, so that Mother Mayhem can have full control over Connor's body.
Mhm.
So Gar literally transforms into a virus.
Which is dope. Because this is like the smallest, like, he's never done this before.
Yeah, he turns
So,
into like a goop droplet of a virus,
yeah.
and then they sprinkle like a magic blue ash that
Well,
Jinx,
it's yeah.
yeah, that would break the curse.
Hmm.
But the virus was
They,
how,
they needed a way to like transport it to Connor.
yeah,
Yeah. So he turns into a little tiny little thing. He
yeah,
said, "B- theoretically, uh, as long as it has DNA, I can turn into it," which was cool. But his coming back from it scene was probably like the cooler part for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they basically just like put a sample of the virus in a big goop tank,
Yeah.
and Gwyneth Paltrow was so excited that they were finally using her vagina goop products
They lit some candles and
made from the same goop. And sorry, that's so gross.
oh, don't be. It's fucking funny. We're funny, damn it. You'll know soon.
And Gar transforms back into himself, and it was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
And then Connor throws up the snake
Yeah. Like,
again.
yeah.
It's like a
This guy's
dog
got
it's like a dog that throws up and then eats the throw up, and there's like, no, that's not good, and throws up again.
I know that dog. She's upstairs. Um,
And then Tim kills the snake.
which is just so dumb. They're just
Yeah.
being dumb with this guy. Here's the thing. I like Tim Drake. I love the character, comics, cartoons, everything. They are not making me feel happy about this character so far. He's kind of a whiny little bitch.
Yeah. There are things that I'm enjoying about Tim Drake, that
Yeah.
they're at least staying true to the fact that he is not straight.
Yep.
Um, They haven't said it outright, but I mean, because we only see him do, a couple of training sessions with the bow staff.
Yeah.
In the comics, like he's a prodigy with the bow staff. So it would make sense that he's picking things up quickly and learning how to fight with it very easily, but they haven't like explained it.
Yeah,
We've gotten like one training sequence and that's about it.
yeah.
But then he like kills the snake with it and everyone's like, "Whoa, looks like the training's paying off." And is like, I
He
guess.
just bopped it on the head with a stick.
No.
Yeah,
Good job, Tim.
bad snake. But then he does make his he finally makes his move with the guy from Star Labs. They have a
Yeah.
little makeout sesh, um, confirming
Yeah, that
what
he
aforementioned. Yeah,
yeah.
which
in
is cool.
in
I
in
mean, yeah.
some iterations he's full, like he's not full, but like he's gay in some iterations, he's bisexual in some iterations.
Mhm.
And then in some iterations they just don't touch on his sexuality. But it's cool that they're not shying away from that source material because
Yeah.
it gives his character depth and
Hmm.
it's really great. Plus also representation is awesome. Um but yeah. They've been hinting at it since the first episode of the season. It's just cool that they're not just hinting, that they're actually like allowing the character to be who they are.
Hmm.
And then all this seems like it was pretty much for nothing because Sebastian ends up getting taken by the cult anyways.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he was trying to.
it was in a heroic moment. He does save Coriander and Rachel from Mother Mayhem, who shows up to like kill them, and he kind of like throws himself in front of them, and he's like, "Thank you guys for like being so nice to me and saving me, but I can't let her kill you." And then he says the words that they want him to say, and it ends with him like becoming a bad guy. I mean, the prophecy being fulfilled. Like
Yeah.
he's I don't know if he's possessed or whatever it is, but he's not a good guy anymore, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
that's how the episode ends.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So I don't know. Anyways,
Well, tell us about that hot sauce you know about.
well, I know this guy. Yeah. Anyways, Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. Fuck.
Did I throw you off? I'm sorry.
Yeah, a little bit. It's fine. I did it to myself. Sponsor number two is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on everything. Listen up and we'll tell you a little bit more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
All right, nerds. So this past Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special came out on Disney Plus. This is now the second special presentation from Marvel Studios that we've gotten, and we want to talk about it. But first off, spoiler alert: if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. It's fun, and then come back.
It was cute.
It was enjoyable. I mean, with that being said,
Hmm.
nothing really happened. You know,
There's no villain. There's no big action scenes. It's not that kind of a special.
Yeah.
One of the cool things that we get to see is that the Guardians have purchased Nowhere, which is the sentient head of something.
Oh, it was Celestial.
Um, and yeah, that's right, yeah. So they bought it from the collector, which means that the collector did not die in Infinity War as we
Oh,
would have thought.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So, which is Benicio del Toro's character, um, aka the brother of Jeff Goldblum's character in
The
uh
Grandmaster.
yeah, Ragnarok. Anyways, so they bought it from him and now they are running nowhere. And they're kind of like rebuilding it, which is kind of cool. Um,
And for fans of the Guardians, like from the comics and stuff like that, that is like the Guardians of the Galaxy's base of operations, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
So now that's at least part of it now in the MCU, which is pretty cool. And with that, we get Cosmo,
The puppy
the puppy,
is a puppy.
the Russian dog that was sent into orbit, gets lost in orbit, goes through some cosmic rays, and gets telekinetic powers.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
We get to hear Cosmo talk.
Yeah,
She is adorable.
she is.
She is so adorable.
She's using her telekinesis to lift some pieces around like a construction site. Rocket
Well,
like
he's yelling at her.
yells at her, and then she growls and then demands treats. And he gives her milk bones. Like this special, like we said, nothing important to the MCU really happens. Well, there's a couple of things, but like in the overarching, there's no
No.
big bad. There's no. It just kind of It's like character development more than anything.
Yeah. One of the cooler things
but-
is Mantis confirms, and if you're a comic fan, you kind of already know this, but that she is Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill's sister. They have the same dad, two different mamas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
half siblings.
Which is kind of the driving force of this movie is that she wants to make Peter happy. He's a little bummed out because Gamora is not there. It's not the same Gamora that he had fallen in love with. That Gamora is dead. Um, and she's like, well, he's my brother, and I know that he's a big fan of this person. That's what we should get him for Christmas.
Yeah,
While she's talking to Drax, and that person is
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin
We
motherfucking Bacon.
we get multiple jokes and references throughout phase 3 about Peter Quill uh loving Kevin Bacon in Footloose. And he's like, yeah, he saved a whole town through dance, and that's why at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Peter uh challenges
Ronan.
help me out here. Oh, was it?
Ronan.
Ronan to a dance off. Um and they make a mention of that in this special that he saved an entire galaxy by a dance off because of you, Kevin Bacon. Like it was pretty cool. Kevin Bacon does play himself. It's very funny.
Yeah, and they Drax and Mantis and really the entire Guardians, other than Peter Quill, Star Lord, they think that Kevin Bacon is like this wild, worldly
Like hero.
outlaw and hero. They don't realize that he's an actor.
Yeah.
And when Drax and Mantis find out that he's just an actor, they lose their shit.
Because they kidnap him.
Yeah,
That's their Christmas present to Peter Quill is Kevin Bacon. So they kidnap him, which is a very funny scene. We could talk about it, but we won't because it'll just take up unnecessary time. They kidnap him, and they find out that he's an actor, and it is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they're talking about how actors are like the lowest
Yeah,
life forms, just like are just pathetic.
yeah. Mantis is like gagging when she
Yeah,
finds out that he's an actor. She's
trying
like,
not to
"Ugh,
throw up.
ugh." It's fucking
Uh,
funny. It is
yeah.
really fucking funny.
I mean, hilarity ensues throughout the entire thing, but uh, I mean, you kind of already said, Mantis is kind of like the heart of the story
hmm
because she does feel guilty, almost that she is related to Peter,
hmm
because the thing that connects them the
It's her
deepest is like,
murderous father.
yeah, it's like the thing that has caused him the most trauma in his entire life.
She thinks he's gonna like reject her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very touching.
Yeah.
Um,
And we actually get to see like a more comic book Mantis
hmm
because she is very acrobatic. She can fight
Yeah.
really well. She
hmm
has a wild personality. Like
hmm
every other time that we've seen her, she's just kind of been timid, a
Yeah.
little ditzy.
hmm
But, here she's fierce. She's running and jumping off of things, running on walls,
Yeah, I was gonna say like climbing on walls like a bug and
beating the
shit. Yeah, it was
shit out of
cool.
people.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
It was really enjoyable.
Um, there's a it this is a Christmas special and there is a Christmas song in it. It's called Christmas Time. I did not double check that before I said that. I could be wrong, but I'm like 99.9% sure it's called Christmas Time. It's a song that Kevin Bacon performs in the show. And Kevin Bacon is in a band called the Bacon Brothers with himself and his brother. This song is an original song written and performed by Kevin Bacon. It was kind of cool. I'm not a
Yeah.
Christmas person, but yeah, it was cool.
And there is an alien band,
Oh yeah.
even at the beginning. Uh, it's literally the band, the old 97s. They're
hmm
just all in prosthetics to look like aliens, stuff like that. But they literally are a real life folk band.
hmm
It's kind of funny because they're talking to Peter, and they're like, "Hey, we're trying to learn these human instruments. I think we have the hang of it, and we know that Christmas is coming up, and that's big for people from Earth like you. But we don't understand Christmas. Can you tell us if we did this right?" And they like play this entire song where they just shit on Christmas, and they
It's
take
so
like a
funny.
very like when you think of Christmas, especially nowadays, the the pagan ties are not
hmm
in any of the traditions really,
hmm
but they like turn the pagan to like 15 on a scale of 1 to 10, and
Yeah.
Peter's like, "What? No, this isn't right at all." And
That's
then at the end
funny.
of it, he's like, "You guys just learned these instruments? Like, how are you so fucking good? Like, this is bullshit."
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
it's funny. There's kind of a cool scene towards the end of it where they give each other presents, and the best I
Easily the
Rocket gets
best.
a present from Nebula, and it's Bucky's arm. And if you don't get this in the references in Infinity War, when Rocket first meets Bucky, he goes, "How much for the arm?" And Bucky goes, "It's not for sale." And Rocket goes,
Oh, I'll get that
"Oh, I'll
arm.
get that arm." And Nebula gifts Bucky's arm. We don't know how, but she gifted Rocket Bucky's arm in this special. So
And
it
he
was pretty
literally
fucking
even
funny.
opens it and he's like, "Bucky's arm." Like,
Yeah. It's cool. It was really cool. Um, yeah, I don't know.
the one thing that
Uh,
did bother me was Groot. Not
yeah.
not how he sounded, not the little bit of screen time where like he actually acted it out and like had personality. He like because he literally like uses a two-wheel dolly with Kevin Bacon in a box to
Mhm.
like deliver him as a gift to Peter, and then immediately after that he's like, "Oh, I knew this was a bad idea," but like through his "I am Groot," he just looked like
A guy in a suit.
the I was gonna say like a really bad CGI Hulk.
So for me, what it looked like to me, so in the early, well, all iterations of Groot so far, between the first Groot, Guardians of the Galaxy, to Baby Groot, Teenage Groot, blah blah blah, has been CGI 110%. This Groot looked like a person wearing like a bulky like suit.
That might have been where it was. It was
It
like
wasn't
that
like it
uncanny
didn't look
valley.
CGI to me. It looked like a person wearing like a blocky suit. That's what it
Yeah.
looked like to me. And it just didn't have I know
And
that it's
he's
not Groot.
and
It
he still
just
had like almost like the baby Groot face, but
yeah,
was like
this
buff.
buff like weird body. Yeah.
But in
I
Infinity
thought it
War
was
and
weird too.
Endgame, like it was his face was already different. It's like his face downgraded and then his
Yeah.
body got buff.
Well, even like the original Groot wasn't so bulky like that. He was tall and he was more like viney and like, whatever.
Yeah.
And this is just like this buff, like blocky, like I don't know.
Yeah.
It bothered me too.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Go watch this though.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's really enjoyable.
What
It's
was the end
fun.
credit scene again? Oh fuck, I forgot it. So the end credit scene is basically them decorating Groot like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, it's just Rocket and Cosmo.
Yeah, it doesn't actually I don't think much of this. There's a couple small things that held a little bit of context, but not much of this will really in fact, that's not what I meant to say, affect the storyline going forward. A little bit of it, but not
Yeah.
a lot of it.
I just think
That's
that
just
the fact that they're now based out of nowhere,
mm,
Cosmo's now a part of it.
Mantis and Quill know that they are brother
Yeah.
and sister.
And just Mantis's development as a whole
Yeah.
are really probably the only things that actually hold weight.
Yeah. Yay.
But there's that.
The big thing, well, for me, the big thing I want to talk about is Black Adam. We both watched it last night. Um, Surprisingly pretty good.
Yeah,
Liked it way more than I thought I was going
definitely
to.
did not hate it.
Yeah, I would watch this movie again. So before we get into this, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, check back in. But it was an enjoyable movie. I really liked it. Would I put it up there with like Man of Steel and like Batman versus Superman, the Schneider cut? Uh, Probably not. But I would watch this movie again for sure.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
cool stuff.
It was a lot better than what I expected. Mainly because I was going into it, I did not hear a lot of great things.
Yeah, so expectations were like maybe down here. So going into it and
But
being
where
like, oh,
the
the movie's like here.
but also, I mean, when we went or not went, we waited till it was out. Like our expectations were also down there for Morbius, and that's kind of where the movie ended.
Yeah, stayed
This
low.
exceeded expectations.
Yeah, it really did. I think and we'll get into, we kind of have like this thing written down here where it's like pros and cons of the movie.
Yeah.
But before we get there, there's some, there's a couple things that we really want to talk. One of the things that I really enjoyed was Hawkman. I
Yeah.
In every iteration of Hawkman, whether it's comic books, cartoons, Smallville TV, I shouldn't have called Smallville particularly, but TV, he's been white which doesn't really make sense because Hawkman is from Egypt. So in this movie, he's black, and it's like, finally,
Yeah.
you're starting to get it, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, uh, so that was kind of cool. I really liked that. Um, I know you had liked
Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate. Yeah.
I mean, first off, Pierce Brosnan
Hmm.
is a Silver Fox.
Mm.
Like, yes, he was James Bond at one point in time. Didn't hate him as James Bond,
Mm.
but this, and this is going to sound a little out there, but this dude has aged so well. And
Oh
he
yeah.
played the hell out of this role.
Yeah, it was cool. I really
He was
enjoyed
the
it.
right amount of, like, class and sass.
Just like James Bond.
But better.
Oh, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Um, his performance was great. The costume was great. We'll get into that later too. Um, Adam Smasher, he was very much the comic relief in this movie, and he did a good job. I
And
laughed at
he was like the second generation Atom Smasher for the
yeah.
Justice Society, which is fun. Cause
He wasn't the Adam. He was Adam Smasher.
right,
Yeah.
cause his uncle was the Atom.
Hmm.
Uh,
It was cool.
and it was Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler. Yeah. Very
Hey.
short scene. Yeah.
It was, it was like a FaceTime video where he's like, "Does the suit fit?
Yeah.
Careful, it's vintage." Eee. And then he elbowed the jukebox in the background.
He kicks it actually, but
I thought sometimes he elbowed it. I thought it was a
the
bit of both.
Fonz,
Yeah,
no, he kicks it
every time.
with his back. He like back foot kicks it, like he turns his back to it and kicks it with his heel, and then goes. "Eh."
Uh,
Trust me, man. My mom used to
I
make me
I
watch that
believe
shit when
you.
I was a
I
kid.
no, I've watched plenty of Happy Days in my.
These happy days are.
Yeah,
Anyways, sorry,
it's so
sorry.
good though. Uh, and then also like Cyclone was cool. Like out of the people from the Justice Society that were involved in this, I hate to say it, I feel like her character, when it comes to superpowers, wasn't as necessary or needed.
It would have been cooler to see Stargirl make it onto the big screen. That would have been
That would
cool.
have been cool. I did
Yeah.
appreciate though because she Cyclone is just very intelligent that she was also the one that like provided like medical
Hmm.
assistance to the non-supers.
Hmm.
I think that's why she was there more than anything. Even though when she uses her powers, cinematically speaking, it was I thought it was impressive. You had some
Yeah.
Morbin time flashbacks.
It
Uh,
was a little streaky. Like the colors she was wearing was like, and then it was like a blue or green streak, and it was, yeah, whatever.
just
Again,
made you think
not
of
talking shit, not shitting on the movie. It was good. Really enjoyed it. Go watch it. One of the there. So I had this thing. It's not a big deal. Doesn't change the plot. Doesn't ruin anything for anybody. It was something that I noticed and I thought it was interesting. I talked to you about it off camera. Uh,
yeah.
but Shazam is an acronym for all of the gods' powers that Shazam possesses. Uh, Shazam is Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. Those are the gods that he has the power of. Again, Shazam, which is all, I think, pretty all Greek gods. Uh, but the bad guy, the bigger Jaws, which we'll get to later in this as well, is Sabak, which is Sabbac. Uh, and it is also an acronym for all of the demons that give the villain uh, his powers, which is Satan, You might have to help me with pronunciation on some of these. I know you corrected me a couple times. You go for it.
It's Satan. I think it's Ayem, uh, Belial, Beelzebub, Amodius, and I think it's Crites or Crates.
So, something like that. Which are, and what I thought was interesting about it is that uh, Shazam's powers come from Greek gods, while Sabac's powers come from
Like
Christian
Judeo-Christian. Um,
demons,
yeah,
which would then make it that all religions in the DC universe are candid, candid,
canon.
candid, canon. Thank you. It's just interesting. Like I said, doesn't do anything for the movie or take anything away from the movie. It was just an interesting thing that I noticed and that it was worth mentioning.
It is super interesting. At least for me, because I didn't know that until today.
That they were acronyms for their
Yeah,
name.
I
Yeah.
never understood that because we even see in the Black Adam film, like for him to turn off his powers, I guess, like he also says Shazam,
Hmm.
and I didn't understand why that was, but once you explained that, I was like, okay, that makes more sense. And then you
Hmm.
explained that to me, which is really cool
Hmm.
and very fascinating.
Yeah.
But let's get into our pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Well, let's start with what we liked about the movie.
Yeah.
You start.
And this pro list may seem shorter than our cons list. That's just who we are. We still both really enjoyed this movie.
He enjoyed it. And one of the things that Chad and I said off camera while we were writing this episode up is that uh I don't it's the critic in us. It's not that we hate or dislike these movies, it's that we're fans. And so we criticize these movies like up and down. I mean, that's just what we do.
Yeah,
So if we sound like we're talking shit, we're not. There are movies, Morbius, that we do talk shit about.
it's
Uh,
Morbin time.
um, this one we have a pros and cons list, and while our cons list may be a little wider than the or longer than the girthy or longer, uh,
Well, the
it does
cons list
not
might seem chodier.
it
Uh,
does not take away from the fact that we loved this movie and we highly suggest you guys go watch it.
yeah,
Yeah. Go
and
ahead.
we were both very surprised at how much we both enjoyed this movie.
I was like, I texted you. I was like, holy shit. I was like, yo, are you watching this? Like, it's really good. And you're like, yeah, I already watched it. It was way better than I thought it was. Like, we both really enjoyed the movie. So,
So first and foremost, I mean, this was visually a stunning movie to watch.
yeah. The cinematography reminded me very much of Man of Steel. Henry
Yeah,
Cavill, first DC movie in this like whole shared universe that they've been trying to get going,
figure
you
out.
know. But it very much reminded me of that. The camera shots were in action scenes were
Es-
fantastic, and you're
Yeah,
more of a camera
especially
you're more
the.
of a camera person than me.
I mean,
You know, like you know better than I do.
from
So
landscapes to fight sequences to all of it, like it was visually very pleasing to watch.
mhm.
The CGI was really, really well done.
On point. Yeah.
Because in, I mean, even for big budget films like this, when there's so much CGI going on, a lot of times it either gets to be too much, to where
Hmm.
you're like, okay, we get it, or it just looks poorly done because there's
Yeah.
so much of it going on. I think
Yeah.
that this was done really well from front to back.
Yeah.
Like we said, the action sequences. I think
Were fire. They were
uh,
so good. I one of the hands down, one of the best things I will say about this movie was the action scenes were so well done. Like the fight scenes, the destruction, the like ability to make them moving as fast as they were fighting each other and not like losing focus on what was actually happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have horrible eyes, but like being able to focus on a fight between people and not be like, holy shit, I cannot fucking like, and like I love the Transformers movies, but when I was watching Transformers movies, I would constantly like rub my eyes and like try to refocus because there was so much happening that like you couldn't really like focus on like what was supposed to be happening,
Yeah.
and they did a really good job of like centering it, and there wasn't a lot of like outside bullshit happening. It was just like this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I it was easy for me to focus on it. Long story short.
No, and
That's great.
I think it's because they did use a good amount of normal pace so you can
Mhm.
see how fast things are moving and slow motion. There
Yeah,
was a few points in time where I was like, this slow motion is getting to be over the top,
it's a little Sparta.
but it still looked, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was a little Sparta.
But it
I think
looked good.
I think one of my favorite things or similarities was, and this is what I was talking about, where it reminded me of Man of Steel a little bit. When at the end of Man of Steel, when Henry Cavill and Zod are fighting each other and they're flying between buildings and shit, it was very similar to Dwayne when he's looking for the kid and he's flying between buildings and like trying to find him. It just reminded me of that, and it was peak fucking like
Yeah.
cinematography. I loved it. Yeah, that was very, very cool. You did a great job on that movie. Whoever made the movie, good job. From
Dwayne.
a guy who sits in an office in a very small house. You're welcome.
Dwayne.
Oh
um,
man.
on
Um,
top, the acting itself was pretty good as well. A
I was a
lot of
little worried about the
a
acting.
lot of people criticized the acting. I don't think that the acting had any issues. There were some cheesy
Di
dialogue,
Dialogue
some
issues.
broken dialogue, but the acting itself, I mean, you believed each character's motives from how
Mhm.
they
Again,
acted and portrayed everything.
I think the two people that we mentioned earlier maybe stole the show for me. No offense to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but I thought Dr. Fate and Hawkman kind of stole it for me. I thought they were both, both, both.
Both,
I
yeah.
thought they were both like really well done characters. I liked personally that Hawkman, like, even though he knew he wasn't a match for Black Adam, he just kept like, hey man, like if you don't want to like go by what we're telling you to go by, like I'm gonna fuck you up. And Black Adam's like, yeah, okay. And then of course Black Adam would whip his ass every time. But he kept like he just was very persistent and like, I don't care if you can beat me, I'm gonna fight you.
Almost like
So,
he can do this all day.
yeah. Yes. I thought it was I thought his character was done really well. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm happy that he was finally, African since he's from Egypt, which made sense to me.
Yeah.
He was done well. Yeah. The characters, the like you said, the acting, it was all fucking peak. This movie's
Plus,
good.
the costumes across the board were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And there was a twist.
There was a little twist.
There was a little twist.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Go for it. Okay.
You go.
Uh,
I feel like I steamrolled. I was very excited about like how good this movie was. I kind of like, to
no, it's
use your
totally
word, I
fine.
steamrolled. So yeah, you go.
Uh,
Twist.
so we're kind of led to believe through the flashbacks that, and even a couple of things that happen in the modern time
Mm-hmm.
that the movie is actually taking place, is that uh, Black Adam or what they call him
Death.
throughout most of the film is Teth Adam, is that he was the slave child that was killed or supposed to be killed for trying to start a revolution against
Mm,
the slave owners back in BC times. And it turns out that it really wasn't him. It was well that child was the one that was originally named champion by the wizards and given the powers,
mhm,
but then the child sacrificed himself and gave the powers to his father so that his father wouldn't die.
mhm. It was
And they alluded to it in the trailer, but throughout most of the film,
you don't know.
it doesn't tie that in at all. So you
Mm,
think that maybe the trailer did that as kind of like a plot point to throw you off on what the story would be. We know that Marvel does that all the time.
mhm,
Tons of movies do that where they add stuff to the trailer where it doesn't actually happen in the film.
mhm. Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see that, that the champion that everyone, excuse me, heard like the tales of, the legends of, and who is actually there are not the same person.
Yeah. And to add to that, there's a statue of who in this like city, town, they have a giant statue of what you think to be Black Adam the whole time. And they built that statue based on the fact that they thought he was a champion. And then you find out at the end that Black Adam was not a champion. He was a vengeful piece of shit that got the power from his son, who was murdered in front of him. And he was not a good person. He was like, hey, you know what?
Well,
You
in
killed my kid.
the statue, because we see him a couple times throughout the film staring at the
Talking
statue.
to the statue, yeah. It's
That
of his
that
son. It's
was
not
of
him.
his son, who was
Hmm.
the actual champion.
Yeah. So that was kind of a cool twist. Yeah, I think I didn't see it coming, and
Yeah,
I'm usually pretty
yeah,
good at like spotting this kind of shit. But yeah, it was good. Um, that being said,
yeah. That being said,
let's
let's get into our
let's
cons.
let's talk some shit.
Well, we already mentioned it, but there was some issues with dialogue.
Some cheesy stuff going on.
Yeah, some not so, and just not even just cheesy. Just some of the dialogue was either so forced or just poorly written.
Mm, hmm. Yeah, and there's kind of a lot of it. Not like a ton, like an overwhelming amount, but there's a lot of it. One of the bigger things for me, uh, we've Chad and I have fucking broken recorded this thing over and over again with superhero movies. It was Bigger Jaws.
Yeah,
This movie is Bigger Jaws. Um, Black Adam is the bad guy, and then we have the JLA, the good guys, and they're like, "Oh no, there's a bigger bad guy. We have to team up and work together to beat the bigger bad guy." Bigger
yeah.
Jaws. Uh, this is fucking annoying. It's just been
It's
done over and over and over again. It's yeah.
yeah, it's a terrible trope that is just there in so many films. In
Mm,
a lot of good movies. I mean,
yeah.
this is one. I mean,
This one being one of the good
this
movies, like
was
again.
that was also the entire fucking point of Captain America Civil War.
Hmm.
I mean,
Bigger Jaws.
Jaws 4, the bigger Jaws. I mean,
Hmm.
it's it's done over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You even said that they could have broken up those two stories
Mm.
into two
Hmm.
different movies.
Yeah. I don't think that. Okay, I'm gonna go off a little bit here. Bear with me. So my a pet peeve that I had with this is that they bring in Sabak in this movie, which could have easily been a bad guy for Black Adam 2 or another DC film, including Shazam and Black Adam, Superman, whatever, down the road. What they did was they brought in they bigger jobs. So they brought in the JLA, which is the
JSA, but yeah.
JSA, sorry, the Justice Society of America, and they and Black Adam fight each other, and then Sabak off to the side like comes up and is like, "Oh, I'm bigger, better, blah blah blah, bigger jaws." And they're like, "Oh no, we have to work together to beat this guy." They should have, especially this is what Chad and I have been beating into each other's heads, beating into our listeners' heads, is that we do not like when they take a bad guy and try to make them likable. It is so fucking annoying. If you're gonna make a villain movie, make a villain movie. Make the villain the bad guy. If you want to make the villain win, make the villain win. They should have taken this movie and done Black Adam versus the JSA and had Black Adam defeat the JSA. That's what they should have done for movie number one. And then split Sabak. They could have introduced they could have used the crown and all that bullshit, but not introduced that or left it as like a cliffhanger for movie number two. That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
And they should have made Black Adam a ruthless killer. And
Like he
they should
is.
have even had him maybe kill one of the JSA. What they did instead is like, we want to make this guy likable, and then it won't make any fucking sense when Superman or Shazam, the good guys that you guys have been building up, have to fight him. Because then you're like, wait a second, why are the good guys fighting the other good guy? It's fucking stupid. He's a bad guy. He's a villain.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
100%. We also got a lot of ripoffs.
Oh yeah. Oh, this was rough. I texted you while I was watching it and I was like, "Yo, did you notice this?"
Yeah. We even added one earlier that we did not write down about Hawkman, about not stepping down from the fight. I can do this all day.
Oh
Like
yeah. Yeah.
Captain America. Literally, when Hawkman gets into the X Jet at the X-Men Manor at Xavier School for the Gifted and leaves through the courtyard to fly off, 100%, it was an X-Men film. Or an X-Men scene.
I mean, if you guys remember in X-Men, I mean, the first and second, third movie, the X-Jet comes out of the basketball court. In the background is the school, the Xavier's School for
Gifted
Youngsters.
youngsters.
And literally, if you had showed me this scene without context, had I not seen Black Adam, I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that from X-Men.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, ripped off.
Directly ripped off.
110%. Yeah.
Also, Black Panther. On a couple of levels. One, I mean, he's flying in a jet made out of some otherworldly material that is indestructible until they just destroy it later in the movie. Which, that's just bad writing. But you pointed something out to me about like when he's oh my god, Hall, what's his first name?
Oh, Carter Hall?
Carter. Thank you. I wanted to say Carl, and I was like, that's not right. Uh, but I mean, you said that it reminded you very much of Black Panther.
Hmm.
Explain.
Well, they had it. I mean, the haircut, the facial hair, everything, and whatever. Like, I get it. Like, everybody has haircuts and facial hair, but they put him in a very Black Panther. Like, I don't know what it's called, so I don't want to like offend anybody, but it is a very like African looking like top like
Robe or
for
garb.
yeah like like jacket. And then when he like walks off stage, they play like a very like reminiscent Black Panther like rap song kind of like upbeat like and I was like, did they really just really like
Yeah.
right as at with the release of Black Panther 2, I was like, that's like spitting in someone's eye kind of. I felt like I
Plus, also the what do they call the mineral or the gem that can only be
oh
found
God, what
in
is it called?
Kondak?
I don't remember.
It's
Like
like
ever
it Ethereum or something like
it's
that.
yeah, Eternium or something like
Yeah,
that. It's like a met or a
a mineral
element,
or metal
yeah,
that
that can
is only
only
be
be
found.
yeah. You do it. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm just talking over you. I'm sorry.
No, we were talking over each other. You go. You go.
But it can only be found in this one place on Earth, and it holds untold possibilities to the point where there's insane technology that uses this mineral as its power source. It's fucking vibranium.
Yeah, they're just ripping off fucking Black Panther. It's super
Also,
annoying.
we get some Thanos snap Infinity War esque deaths where just people just like turn to dust
Hmm.
and mineralize away into
Hmm.
the world. I mean, we already know that Doctor Fate and Doctor Strange share a lot of similarities,
Yeah,
but
but specifically that scene.
yeah, where he makes like 1,000 of himself
Yeah,
to
he
fight
like
Mephisto. I mean, Sabak.
he literally duplicates himself to the T when Doctor Strange duplicates himself to fight Thanos.
Yeah.
Doctor Fate does the exact same thing to fight Sabak, and it was just like,
And uses like
come
the
on.
mirror dimension to like hold people back
Yeah.
and cast spells to like change the scenery. It's we know obviously because these two comic universes have existed side by side for so long. There's obviously similarities,
Hmm.
especially when like Jack Kirby, who worked on both sides of the lines,
Yeah.
like we know that those things are. I mean, Jack Kirby helped create Black Adam. Like
Hmm.
we obviously there's going to be similarities across the board, but in film, how closely they tried to replicate what the MCU has already done,
Hmm.
it was a bit much.
Be original.
BE original.
Yeah. UGLY. You ain't got no alibi.
You ugly.
You
You
ugly.
ugly.
Anyways, we gotta speed this up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
uh, the kid and his mom in this movie, they're the driving force for Black Adam to be good. Um, but they're really fucking pointless.
Yeah.
And you particularly liked his skateboarding skills.
Fuck. So the opening scene of like the modern era that the film actually takes place in, the kid is riding a skateboard through the streets. Cool, whatever. His skateboard follows him everywhere to the point where he, in their apartment building that they live in, he'll ride his skateboard down the hall, walk down a flight of stairs, get on a skateboard, ride it for 20 feet, get off of it, walk down the next flight of stairs, get back on. It's just like, why? He also
Yeah.
uses it as like a zip line thing. Like if you don't have the balance, like kid's gonna fucking smack. Has he done that before? Probably not. Also, his idea of stealth was to like bodyboard on his skateboard, and then was immediately like found, and then he like carried his skateboard, and then when he goes to like radicalize other people for the unneeded zombie horde that also happened at the end of this movie, he comes riding around the corner. He's like, "Hey, mom!" While he's skateboarding, he's like, "Eh," and then like
Yeah.
people are following him. It's
What's
like,
this?
oh yeah, Rockaware.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, it's super stupid, and they just didn't need.
this
Other
movie
than
was
the
so
only
good. They didn't need all these little
yeah
things. If you want to have the kid skateboard for like parts where it makes sense, cool. He's a teenage kid. He likes comic books. He probably obviously skateboards.
Mm.
The one thing that I did like, because he obviously it was a huge like superhero fan, was that it very apparently whenever Black Adam was the direct cause of like a part of his room being damaged, it was always Superman.
Hmm.
Like he zaps Superman's face off of a poster,
Punches
punches
through a
through.
Superman's chest.
Yeah,
Yeah, in a door. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was funny. It was a bit on the nose, but it was funny.
Probably some foreshadowing.
Yeah, because we did get an end credit scene
Hmm.
of
Hmm. Hmm.
Henry Cavill
It was
playing
dope.
himself. It was
Yeah,
just Henry Cavill. No, I'm just kidding.
Henry Cavill. And he's like, "All right, son, you're getting to be a bit much, isn't it?"
In it?
Sorry, that's my Bullet Train reference. It's a suitcase, isn't it? Yeah, fucking end credit scene. Henry Cavill back as Superman. Uh, yeah,
It was fantastic. I know that we spent a lot of this bit talking shit. Go watch
it was
this
good.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, it
go
was a lot
watch
of
it.
fun. It is a fun fucking movie.
There was just some unnecessary tropes that were added and some blatant ripoffs.
Mhm.
But the movie itself was very good.
All right, we are going to close out this episode, but before we do have some honorable mentions. Chadley, what did you watch?
So, firstly, I watched Limitless with Chris Hemsworth.
The whole thing?
Yeah, all 6 episodes.
Oh, you did? You watched all of
Yeah,
it?
I
Oh,
watched
didn't
all
realize.
6 of them. Yeah. I started it last Monday, and I watched a couple episodes a night. Really, really enjoyable. It's really interesting. It's really fascinating. And it just gave me a bigger appreciation for Chris Hemsworth as well. And also, like, it's interesting that even though we see actors like him that are like peak health,
Mhm.
like a lot of the things that he did in the show like really tested like his strength and stuff like that. Like there's a difference between like looking like a movie star and having like functional muscles.
Yeah. Fun fact about that show is he did that while he was recording or filming Thor Love and Thunder, and Disney was like, "Hey man, or he was supposed to, sorry, he was supposed to film that during the same time, and they were like, "Hey man, you can't do this while you're filming for Thor Love and Thunder because you're possibly gonna die. And if you die, we can't finish our film." So,
Not entirely true. He I mean, yes, they made him stop, but it was because he hurt himself while doing this show, and they're like, "You're gonna have to stop
yeah.
because
That's
you have
stupid.
to be able to film the movie."
Yeah.
So yeah, he like really hurt his ankle training for.
Oh,
He like tore a ligament or something like that or
nice.
whatever. But yeah, so along those same lines, you know. But then also I watched the first episode of Wednesday on Netflix.
We both watched the first episode of Wednesday on Netflix.
Yeah.
Also this morning,
Yeah,
coincidentally.
I really liked it.
So far, yeah. What's her name? Ortega.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega
Jenna Ortega. Yeah. Yeah.
killed the
She
role.
and I love that they put Christina Ricci in the show.
Yeah,
So, which was the original Wednesday Addams for you youngsters. Uh, yeah, it was cool.
I enjoyed it. I'm excited to watch more of it.
Yeah, it's dark. I feel like they're kind of doing like a kind of how they did Sabrina the Teenage Witch when they kind of brought it back and they're making it like a murder mystery kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of piggybacking on that, but I thought Sabrina was pretty good. So,
Yeah. I
yeah,
I didn't watch the reboot, but I know that it's more in line with what like the the comics.
it was definitely not a sitcom.
Yeah.
There was a lot of demonic and
Yeah, it actually takes place in the same like comic universe as like
Archie.
Archie, yeah,
Mhm.
which is so weird to me.
It's like the neighboring town. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
What about you? What did you watch besides Wednesday?
we watched Smile, which is a horror film. Um, it was it was okay. It was it is as talking about these copycat kind of things. It was very much if you've seen a horror movie called It Follows, which is basically like a ghost STD. I mean, realistically,
Yeah.
if you have sex with somebody, you pass this ghost on to that person. This was very much like that, only it was uh, if you kill yourself in a morbid way, this ghost would then, whoever witnessed you kill yourself, the ghost would then follow you and torment you until you killed yourself in front of somebody else. It was a very unoriginal. I thought It Follows was a very original film. This was, they kind of stole that. It was the same movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I did not really care for it. The funny thing about the movie is we watched it and then we watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special right after, and my girlfriend Nicole was like, I feel like I know that girl from somewhere, and she looked it up, and it turns out that the girl in the main character in Smile is Kevin Bacon's daughter, which is hilarious because then we watched the Guardians of the Galaxy special and they kidnapped Kevin Bacon. So that was kind of funny. But I would not suggest this movie. I think it was pretty dumb. So
Well, that's a bummer. Well, if I mean, I think Jake and I both agree that we would recommend you following us on social medias. Uh, and might be going on a stretch, but like recommend you support us with your money as well. Um, no, you obviously don't have to, but if you wanted
yes, you
to,
do. Give us your fucking money.
we do have our merch store up. We'll have some artist exclusive merch coming out soon because we're funny, damn it.
Or funny, damn it.
We are. Uh, and also, if you wanted to give on a monthly basis, we have a membership site through buymeacoffee.com. It's buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. It's a great way to support us on a monthly basis. We don't pocket anything. Everything that we get goes right back into the show, into bigger and better merch, bigger and better giveaways, all of that. So it's a great way to support us. If you don't want to give us our money, give us our money. Well, how entitled of me. If you don't want to give us your money, we definitely get that. But if you like our show, you like what we're doing, you just think that Jake and I are cute, like, subscribe, share our social medias, the show, things like that. It really does help us out. And I mean, with that being said,
Nah, I don't have anything left other than this.
well, then finish it out.
With that being said,
Dick.
this is the All Things Nerd podcast.